up, Growmies? Happy Monday. We're back with another Growmie Talk. Today we have Yellow Skunk Farms, Mr. Josh. Thank you for hanging out with us. We also have Miss Vixen in the chat, in the background. Thank you for always hanging out with me, but you're awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Vixen, ask her how her day is going, and get to it. So hi, but how you doing, buddy? How you doing? Sorry, I've been running around back and forth right now, trying to get everything ready.
Yeah, Mondays are always crazy. So, but I'm excited about tonight's show. This is really super cool.
Like that.
This is up my alley.
It's like it's been a journey watching it work. Yeah, it's definitely. So let's introduce you, Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Good, man. How you doing?
Sorry about that, bro. I know you've been hanging out with me for a little bit. Just been running around trying to set everything up, make sure that we have hopefully proper internet. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Come on. Well, I got a beagle here that wants to come in my lap here, so excuse me for a second.
Hey, like I want to spend my time too.
Hey,
awesome.
Sorry about that.
Red. Yo, Red. What up, Frank? Crimson, what up?
Hey guys.
120 things, what up? What up? Appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with us.
All right, what was the question?
Especially
we were sitting there doing fine till my dog like that. All right, we're good now.
Oh no, it's all good, buddy. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Josh.
Well, I'm a small business owner here in Virginia. Been doing the same thing for the last 20 years. Me and my wife own a yoga studio here in Providence Forge called Homegrown Yoga. Haven't been doing that for 20 years. We've been doing that for the last 3, but I've been in the trucking business for the last 20. And I just got into the growing. Like I said, I was telling you guys, 2020 hit, of course, COVID. And I wanted to learn how to grow. So I started my venture and went down a rabbit hole that you wouldn't believe, or wormhole, whatever you want to call it. And it landed on natural farming, K&F, Jadam, Dr. Elaine Ingham, Marco is growing. I mean, there's so many people I can mention that I'm standing on their shoulders right now, I've learned so much from so many different people, Leighton Morrison on the horizon. None of this would actually work without Leighton Morrison. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but Kingdom, I believe it's Kingdom Aquaponics on Instagram.
Like there's so many Growmies and
there's so many people out there, man. They got so much information, and I just took a little bit from everybody and made it my own. And I've had a fish pond. I've had a fish pond outside for 23 years. I've had saltwater aquarium. I've had freshwater aquariums, a reef aquarium. I don't know if you've ever dealt with a saltwater reef aquarium, but that's kind of one of the hardest things you can do, and actually bring indoors and make work.
No, I'm new to all this, bro.
Yeah, it can get complicated, but once it's set up right, if it's set up properly, you can do it pretty much anything you want indoors. Nowadays with the LED lighting and with the mini splits, you can get the environment dialed in and just run with it,
Definitely.
But I've only been growing cannabis like this for maybe a year and a half now, 2 years. So yeah, I jumped into it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So how have you enjoyed the journey so far?
No, it's been great. I love the natural farming. Since I got into natural farming, It's been great. I've tried the hydroponics. I did aquaponics with the pond outside. You know, I ran some piping and tapped into the pond water, and the pond water is where it's at. That fish shit is where it's at. You know, all the nutrients that you're looking for. You add what they call a dual root zone. So in aquaponics, they do a flood and drain system. I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with aquaponics at all? And how they do?
Just no.
Well, aquaponics.
Never done it myself.
They use a flood and drain system. So what it is, they build like a box, and then they'll have an aquarium. Let's say if you want to do it on a small scale, you can have an aquarium, and then have a small box on the side and run you a pipe from the aquarium into your box, and basically it's in the bottom of the box there you can use hydrogen, like lava rock, so to speak. You would fill the bed with lava rock, and then set your tray on top of the lava rock and fill the bed with the fish water with the lava rock, and then that just on top, the water comes up just to the bottom of the tray. So your nutrients in that water from your fish pond is actually feeding your plants, and you still are in soil. So as your tray is filled with soil, so your plant's in the soil, so you're getting that microbiology, but you're also adding the fish microbiology as well into the whole aspect. And through that, you know, a lot of people have found you can increase terpene production by 15 to 30%.
Nice.
Just by adding that dual root zone, and by adding that extra element of microbiology and the element of nature to the whole thing. And what I did was take that aspect of aquaponics, and I was like, how does nature do that? And I live on a reservoir here, so
nice.
it's a freshwater reservoir that it's drinking water for Newport News, Virginia. So I live in a little county up here that they built a reservoir, and they have a dam up here, and they pump water out this reservoir down to Newport News as for drinking water for the city down there. And they have a bunch of them around here. I mean, there's not just one. There's like 2 or 3 around here that there is. But they're all feeding off of a river, off of multiple rivers, like the Chickahominy, the Pamunkey. There's like 7 different rivers. It's all here in Virginia. You know, if you look on the coastline, it's the James River, the Chickahominy. They're all feeding into the Chesapeake Bay. Well, I just happen to be on a piece of land that's my family-owned land, that I got to purchase here just 3 years ago. And I actually live on this reservoir where there's an underground creek that comes in from the Pamunkey, and it comes in from the Chickahominy. And it pops up right here on my piece of property. So I can actually go down there.
You get a little blend of
Yeah, I can go down there and harvest this sand, silt, and clay that's been built up over thousands of years, you know, hundreds of thousands, however long the river's been there, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm harvesting to do this with. And that it turns out that stuff is like it's extremely good for the root. And I've tested it out multiple times. You can go back in my Instagram feed, and I looked at it today. I think it's at like around day 35 or 37, something like that, where I have it actually, I tested it, or I just laid that sand silt, but I didn't just go down there and harvest it and put it in a tray. What you have to do is go down there and you have to clean it first, basically. And how you clean it, and Leighton, this is what I learned from him, he would bring his up and lay it out on like concrete or lay it out on his asphalt driveway and let it heat up and cook out all that bad biology that smells like a swamp. You know, you don't want that. You don't want
I
the
was
swamp.
watching that video earlier today. I was like, that's crazy how you just like laid it all out, broke it all
Yeah,
up, pretty much just shoveled it out, and the fine
yeah.
stuff, you kept that separate.
And there's a big difference in that and washing it out. So you don't put, I would never put that, like even after cooking it, and that's what I call it, cooking it, like laying it out and letting the sun bake it, cook out all that stuff. I wouldn't, it still has that organic matter in it.
Right.
You know, so you don't want that in your creek system. So in your creek, it's been filtered for thousands of years naturally. So there is no, organic matter in there. It's all on the sides of the creek. Like the center of the creek, it's usually clean, crystal clean. If you're in a good area. If you're up in a mountainous area, the creek, the center of the creek, the water is crystal clear. It's not running through shit. And the way I get rid of it is put it in a wheelbarrow and wash it out and just keep washing like you're washing for gold, and I kind of am, because I'm just wanting, as you wash it out with a hose, all the organic matter flows to the top and you can wash it out. And what's left is that sand and silt and a little bit of clay. And that is pure what it is. I mean, it's nutrient is what it is. I mean, you put it in the center of the creek and let water run over it, and you cycle that water. And the big thing about what you're seeing on my Instagram feed is, the trick is there's no filter. Like the whole system runs on no filtration whatsoever. So once I add fish in, all the fish shit's going to pump up through and filter through the creek system itself. And as it filters through the creek system, it's going to tap in to where that sand, silt, and clay has been pulled up on top of that rock, and the moss is laying on top. It wicks a tremendous amount of water up out of the creek. And I'm hoping that what's going to happen is that all those nutrients are going to trap into that moss. And then my plants are going to tap into that moss and get secondary metabolites and all different types of nutrients that's coming from that creek system as well, without me having to do anything.
Yeah.
That's the plan. And learning natural farming is also has taught me that.
Sweet, bro. Where do you have it exactly at? Like, is it in a garage or something?
Yeah, it's in a garage. Yep. On a flat piece of concrete, just a slab of concrete. It's about 750 square feet, but the actual box itself is 12 foot long by 9 foot wide. So it's 12,
That's awesome.
it's 12 by 9, and I can get about a 5 foot tall plant to grow from the soil level on up to the top of the roof. I still have about 5 feet to spare, with the light going all the way to the top, So I can drop the lights. I just put the lights in today. Like, I just turned them on today. So the whole system that you're seeing, and I'll post every day. So every day I'll go in there and you'll see what's
Nice.
growing, and that's the plan. That's what I like to do. So somebody asked me what was the purpose in doing it, and I was like, well, I just like doing it.
You should try to get a live feed set up so people can just kind of, log in and see it and watch it. And
That's exactly what I was telling another buddy of mine. I've got Cox Cable. With Cox Communication is who our internet feed is, and I'm gonna get some internet out there here shortly.
very good.
We'll run a live
Just
feed.
get a
I have a
hotspot or
YouTube
something.
channel. I just don't deal with it because YouTube right now is just, I don't have the time. I like Instagram because
Yeah.
it's quick. I can make a minute and a half video and be done.
Yep.
30 seconds, I'm done. I'm back working, Doesn't take a lot of my time. And I can kind of get my point across, So it's cool.
Yep.
Hopefully I don't get deleted. I see a lot of people getting deleted. But when it comes to cannabis,
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. You have a lot of education and stuff, and most of it has to do with a lot of your new projects. So I was like, I think you should be good. It's
I
just,
hope
I
so.
feel like it has to do with haters. And so as long as you remain positive, you keep doing you, bro, I don't see you going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm always positive. You know, I try and hang. Like I said, you guys, I listened to a couple of your videos, and I was like, yeah, I'm good with these guys. You're trying to stay positive, and you know, you're trying to spread the love, and you know, it's all about the love and plant, and you know, trying to educate. You know, I want to learn. You know, I'm here to learn. I'm not a science guy. You know, I can't sit here and do a whiteboard for you. I can put things together though pretty well, and I just decided I had the resources to do it, and
smoking in the water.
What I've learned. Say what? I'm sorry.
I saw Growmie just jumped on. I was like, smoking in the water. Hello, how you doing?
Oh, sorry, I don't see the comments.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good. But yeah, that was the whole thing. I had the means to do it, and
see a comment bar on the side.
No, you're in the show. No,
should be on your far right.
Messenger bubble.
I see it here. I mean, I see something here, but it's not there. There's no chat there. It just says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Uploading recordings. Stay in the studio until your recordings are uploaded. That's all I see.
Over on the right side of your screen, you might be on the where it says private chat and then comments and recording. If you click on the comments, it'll show them going down the side.
Okay. Yeah, I see it now. No. I'm trying to get them to stay up without it being in front of my face, though.
Oh, yeah.
Does it have to be in front of my face?
Yeah. It's a learning process. We're here to help in any way we can. Yeah. What up, certified old guy?
It took me a while to get used to it.
Oh, so that's supposed to be there in front of you? Okay, I got it. All right. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's just the Growmies in the chat hanging out with us, enjoying your story and your.
Yeah, the more the merrier. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that was the whole idea behind the thing was once I learned a little bit about natural farming, because I did the 30-gallon pots indoors, and then I tried the 4x4. The 4x4 bed was amazing. I was like, oh man, because I did the 30-gallon for a while, for like a year, you know, and I was like, it's okay, but the watering aspect of it is horrible. But especially when you're trying to do organics, like keeping the water where it needs to be, you know, without it going anaerobic and drying out on you in certain spots. You know, you'll get a wet spot over here and a dry spot over here. And you're not using the right wetting agent, you're not using this and that. I mean, it's just a pain in the ass. And then I got to the 4x4 bed, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is where it's at, 4x4 bed. And I can start adding things and getting more of a root system, because I knew that it was all about roots in your grow. You know, the more you got, the better off you're going to be. And I was like, yeah, 4x4. You saw a picture of mine in the tent. I had ivy growing all up the side. I had I had peas. I had flowers. I had all kinds of shit. You know, I had a bug problem. I had spider mites. I had freaking gnats. I had you name it. I had it. And I found out real quick that it's there's something else to this. These guys I see doing this online, they don't have any of this stuff in their tents, and there's a reason. Why they don't have any of this stuff in their tent, because it becomes a problem. I mean, you got to spray, and it was just a mess. So I went back to the 30-gallon, and then I found natural farming on Future Cannabis Project. And then I found Leighton Morrison, and I found Brian at Rubber Ducky Isopods, and him and Leighton did a show called Living Soil Conversations. And that show, if you look that up, that show kind of changed my life, to be honest with you. I mean, I give all props to Leighton, and then the way they put the show together and what they talk about. They don't not only teach you, but it's life, about your health, really, and how microbes are not only in the soil, but but in your gut.
Right.
You know, the whole system almost works like your body does. So in one hole, out the other. You know. So
and all the little microbiomes along the way.
Yeah, all the microbiome. I mean, it's so complicated. I wouldn't even begin to try and learn. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. I'm learning from, the real scientists and people who are putting in the work, that are doing this stuff. But I'm trying to do it, at a home level, not at a scholarship level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
these people that have, they have laboratories. They have laboratories and scientific equipment. I don't have all that. I'm not trying to do all that. I might get a microscope. A microscope is definitely something that's going to come in my future. Because I want to see what I'm doing. Kind of at least know that what I'm looking for is there. But first you got to know what you're looking for, right? I mean, that's the big part. So that's, have you heard of,
they have
there you go. There you go.
Available now where you pretty much do
the digital. That's for like your trichomes and stuff. Yeah. How many X does that go to? What is that, like 100X or something? Yeah, the big ones, the ones that they use in the laboratories to look at biology, or like they're the ones you got to set on a desk and have dialed in and have slides for. You put your sample on the slide and you slide it in. That would look like maybe one
that'd be
for like
pretty sweet.
looking at bugs.
If I buy the slides, I could do that.
Yeah. Like I have one that you can look at.
I just know I can see. Yeah, like I just know I can see the trichomes. Like if they were fucking ready to explode in my face, I was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, those are nice, but I'm talking like a real microscope that's 400X. You can really get down and see the.
Get up in there.
But yeah, that's how that's when I first got into it. Like it was. I was really intrigued at what you could learn, and then I was like, wait, because I have stomach. That's the whole reason why I smoke cannabis, is because I've had stomach issues since I was a little boy, and it always, when I first found it, I was like, oh man, I found my medicine, because it got rid of the nausea. Like, I mean, it was just, like I said, when I found cannabis, it was life-changing, not only for, because it got high, but I didn't know it at the time. I was 16, but once I realized that, wow, every time I smoke this, my stomach stops hurting. I was like, all right, I'm going to smoke this a lot. And I did, we smoked a lot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the good stuff, you know what I mean? We smoked a lot of shit. So now that I found, like, you can grow real good cannabis, oh man, it's like life-changing, it really is. And when you first grow your first bud, and you actually dry it and cure it, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the biggest thing. Like I learned, I've killed grown some beautiful flower, and got it all the way to the bathroom, and then just fucked it completely. Like it only takes 15 days to completely destroy. You let the humidity go crazy, you let something go wrong, something fills up, right?
Yeah.
Game over. And then outdoors,
I'd rather have no humidity than too much on that end.
Yeah. And we didn't have those grow bags now that are easy. You can just toss it in. As long as you dry it for 10 days, 15 days, and throw it in a grow bag, shit, in 3 weeks, it's good. It's good. I mean, I don't know how a damn grow bag works, but it works. It's a whole lot better than trying to track a jar.
Bro, tell me about it. I've broken so many jars with fresh flowers. I was like, fuck. I was tired of it. I was
I
like,
like
I'm
the
switching
jar
to
after the
bags.
bag. I tell you what I do. I have a whole bunch in a gallon bag that I have, and then when I have a big old jar, like I use an infinity jar. Like these infinity jars, they're black. They're UV proof. They keep your bud super nice. So I'll keep the bud in the bag in the closet at the bottom of the closet, which is basically the coolest place in my house. And then when I want to smoke, I'll just bring it out, fill the jar up, and the jar keeps it nice and fresh while I'm smoking it, and I'll just refill the jar. Because the bag keeps it, I mean, really nice for a long period of time. You know, the jar won't do that. The jar, it'll degrade fast in the jar. You need to smoke it. For real. Have you ever, you know, when you grow it, yeah, when you grow it, you know, you can, if you ever try to smoke it, like, you know, day 5 of dry, you know, you ever tried that? Like, just, and it tastes like shit, you know, it's like, oh my God, it's like horrible. Tastes like grass, you know. Then day 10, I'll smoke a little bit, and I'll be like, okay, here we go. And then day 15, I'm like, all right, let's put it in the bag here. And I'm smoking it all the way through, like, and I'm tasting the difference, you know. I want to know what it tastes like all the way through, and it's a huge difference. Yeah, it's crazy how.
No, no, you're good. We're nerds. What up? We're nerds. Hopes. Nah, you good, bro. To be honest, I've tried several flowers, and like, yeah, you have some that are like, all right, this one just definitely needs more time. Because the way it's burning, you can hear the little like crackling or whatever. I was like, yeah, there's still something going on in there that just needs to evaporate or whatever.
That's right. If it's crackling, it ain't done.
Yeah, I was like, I've noticed if you turn down the temperature and have a little bit more of a air circulation, you can get some of the fresh bigger nugs to dry up a little bit faster, and you like pinch off just to that top piece, and it'll burn really, really good. And as it's just like mentioned before, you try it again in a week or so, do the same thing, and you're just gonna see the difference. It's just gonna get better, more tastier. Especially like if it doesn't have too much fan leaves in the way, that's what makes it bitter and that hay smelling or whatever. Yep.
Yeah, it's usually about 3 weeks into the bag, like after the dry. About 3 to 4 weeks into the bag is when I really start to taste the difference. That's when it's really at its point where you really starts to get almost crunchy, but you know you've done it right if it doesn't smell. Like when you break the bag open and you're like, oh, where's my smell at? And then you grab a bud and you break it and then you smell it. That's when you know it's done right, because it shouldn't be putting when you break a bag or a jar and it smells, that's degrading terpenes that you're smelling. It's the insides of the terpene evaporating off, and you're smelling what's evaporating. So that's not good if you want to make your bud last a long time. And that's what's cool about these bags. You know, I'm not trying to promote them or anything, but that's the only thing I've found that really does stop that. You know, it really does seal that terpene in that bud and make it almost like a hard, crusty nug, but it's not, you know, it's still there. You know, when you break it, it's still sticky, it's still moist.
Yep.
You know, when you feel that stickiness, that's when you know it's good weed. You know, it's done right. Like if you don't feel that, then it's gone. It's going to evaporate it off. Like when you crack the jar and you smell it, God knows how long that jar has been evaporating that off. You know? Especially in a non-light kills terpenes. Like that's one big thing I've learned. Light, like UV light, eats it up. It's like why they put beer in dark-proof glass, why they put wine in dark-proof glass. All that stuff, you know, there's a reason why they do it, and it's to prevent, that terpene erosion, to get it into that non-light environment where there's no degrade whatsoever. That's the environment you want to be in. Usually it's around 60%, humidity, 60 degrees. It's hard to get there. Most ACs don't even go down to 60. Usually they go down to about 62. So, 63. Mine goes down to 62. Yeah, so it's pretty tough to get to 60, but I found as long as you're below 70 and you can keep your humidity around 55 to 60, you're good. For 10 days, put it in a bag. If you only have jars, or you can use a 5-gallon bucket, and no guys use 5-gallon buckets, but put a lid on it. Yeah, there's multiple different ways you can do it. The glass jars and the 5-gallon buckets, you got to burp. After 10 days, you got to do the first, day burp, then you got to do the 3-day burp, and then the 5-day burp, and the 10-day burp. You got to make sure that gas is released. But that's what those bags do for you. So they release that gas. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been using them for a little bit over two years. This was before I even started growing. I just like to have my stuff whenever I got something from somewhere. I just like to have it where it was nice and fresh. And that was always the one, like you mentioned, jars will break on that.
Yeah, if there's one invention that I've enjoyed the most, it's those bags. Yeah, for sure. I got into the whole natural farming actually to get out of buying shit. Like I was spending so much money on freaking crazy stuff. And I'm a capitalist, I'm a businessman. I love buying stuff, but I don't think I should have to spend, $200 to go to grow some weed. It shouldn't be complicated. It really shouldn't be. And I think it's been made a little complicated. Like when you go into a grocery store and it looks like a cereal aisle at a grocery store. I mean, what the hell,
Like which one do I grab?
Yeah. What's good here, And then you talk to somebody and they're like, oh, hey, they're all good. Okay, cool. Which one's got the best looking box?
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, like which one can advertise it better, which one can.
Yeah. It's all basically got the same stuff, and it boils down to microbes. Like when you learn to read a label, that's the most important thing I think you can do as a grower. Is go into a grow store and be able to pick up a freaking bottle and turn it over and go, okay, I know what this is. I know what this is. I know what this is. Very empowering. Very empowering. It'll help you as a grower.
If you can pronounce it, there should be something wrong right there.
It'll help you as a grower to know what you're reading. So if you go into a grocery store and you have no idea what you're looking at, just looking at a label is like reading Japanese. You have no idea. But yeah, the microorganisms. We're getting back to that. That's where it's all is the biology. It's all about biology. It's once you get that in your soil, it's pretty much game over. Like once you learn how to feed your soil, once you learn how to feed it, yeah, it's game over. I mean, it's really easy. It's cheap. It's basically free to do. If you have a patch of land, even if you're in an apartment, there are people out here that are selling things that you can buy that one time. And if you know what you're doing, you can buy it one time and make that stuff grow and last and culture and learn how to do it yourself just by going to the park and getting a bag of leaves and learn how to use those leaves to your advantage in your growth. It's empowering to be able to do that, to be able to not have to go to a grocery store and lay down $100.
Right.
It feels good to be able to know if the power turns off, I can still grow my stuff. Maybe not indoors, but outside, I have a little bit of land here and I can grow things without having to go to the market, you know, to do that. And it's pretty empowering to be able to, because I couldn't do that 3 years ago. You know, I was very dependent on the grow store to grow cannabis. And I was just like, no, I don't want to be dependent on anybody really to get my medicine. So once COVID hit, I was like, oh man, I might not be able to see the dude who grows my stuff anymore. You know what I mean? So I better learn how to do this. And I said, I've been running my own business for 20 years, and that's taking a lot of my time. So now I have a little bit more time. I'm getting ready to turn 48 here next Friday, actually. On the 20th, I'll be 48. So yeah, I'm almost hitting big 50, so it goes by pretty fast.
Some of us already did, so yeah.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
It does, yeah.
So I decided I just wanted to learn. You know, I wanted to learn how it all works. And I don't know how it all works. I don't think nobody really knows. Once you get into the natural aspect of this, like trying to mimic nature, it's what I'm trying to do with my grow.
Right.
So the whole system sits on a horizontal method, and what that is basically just how the earth layers itself. So you have a I believe it's an E horizon, or what is it? A, E, O, or E, A, O. So it's E is at the bottom, A is in the middle, O is at the top. So your O is your organic matter. So, but if you picture in your mind like the forest,
your leaves.
Yeah, you got your organic matter on top that's been built up. You have a thick layer of organic matter, and then it breaks down into your soil, the actual soil that's been broken down, and then it gets down into your bedrock, into your rock layers. So that's what I'm mimicking here in this bed. Is I'm mimicking that layered system. So there's pea gravel at the bottom, and then I put that sand, silt, and clay from the reservoir is what the layer is. It separates the soil from that water zone. Because I don't want soil setting in water, because it goes anaerobic and you get swamped. You know, it's not good. So what I wanted that water to do was pass through all that sand, silt, clay, organic matter, go down. As it's going down, it's filtering itself back into this bottom of your bed, and then you just pump it back up into your pond system. Which by the time it gets to the bottom of the bed, it's crystal clear, and then you just pump it back into the pond, and it recirculates and regenerates itself that way. And I also run the humidifier hose right to the top. So if you look at the top of the pond, at the top of the mountain there's a tiny little humidifier hose running in, and that's dripping water. So I've noticed I get about 5 gallons every 2.5 to 3 days of extra dehu water going back into the system. Yeah. So I don't have to top. So far, I haven't had to top off anything. It's been completely self-regenerating. So it's so far. I've had to do this I've gone through I know you've been watching, so it's been a little bit of trial and error here, getting it to the right amount. And I've noticed that the amount of water that this sand and silt actually wicks up. I mean, it's unbelievable how much it actually wicks. So all it has to do is you have a line of that stuff just touching the water, and line almost like an ant line, like an ant hill to the soil. It'll literally stream that water right to the soil, and you'll see that patch of soil there about maybe 5 or 6 inches, like your hand size, will be moist all around that patch. But what's happening is it's too much. It was too much at one time, and it was overdoing everything. So I had to seal up everything, and from sealing up everything, I've noticed that the creek has now risen up above, almost to that crescent line of the rock that I built. So now I've set that moss right on top of that rock, and it's just wicking water like into the soil, and it's doing it perfectly. Like it's maintained.
Nice.
It's not pulling too much. It's not pulling too little. It stays at that perfect moisture level that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, like if you've ever heard of like a blue mat system, like they use carrots to stick these, you know. So yeah, it's just like that, except it's nature's way. It's nature's carrot, basically. You set that moss down, and it wicks the perfect amount, and it doesn't allow any more to come than what it needs to be. You know, so it's pretty neat how it actually is working so far. You know, I don't know how it's going to work when everything starts to settle down and really build up. You know, things are going to start to build. So that's what I'm looking for. Like I'm looking for the creek to start to rise, because sediment and shit will be sucked up through the pump, and it'll slowly over time start to fill those cracks in the creek, and that allows water to rise up as the creek fills. So I may have to do some dredging, you know, in the creek to allow that water to go back down over time, but we'll have to wait and see, you know, as it runs. But hopefully the cannabis is going to really like it, because the cannabis, it's like a dual root zone system. So the water's down there, cannabis is just going to have to go get it. You know, and then the feeder roots come out from the top of the plant and go straight to that moss and feed off of that moss and get those microbes and get all those, you know, secondary metabolites that we're looking for and beyond. You know, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, it could be all kinds of crazy shit going on that nobody's ever seen before. You know, I can send this off to a laboratory, you know, and they'd be like, "Oh, I ain't never seen no shit like that." You know, who knows? You know, because a lot of it's soil and everything's coming together. You know, you've got the creek, you've got the moss, you've got the sandstone clay, and then you've got the soil. So everything comes together, and we're gonna find out what happens. You know, I might get fire, I might get crap. I don't know. We'll find out.
I know it was probably. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! Like, what about Kenna?
I say back in, it probably, let's see, it would have been about 2010. My house back up in Iowa, the backyard was so shaded I couldn't really grow any produce or anything, and I wanted big gardens, so I made my whole front yard into victory gardens, and I got some old railroad ties, and I was looking to see who had soil available, because up in Iowa you can get great black dirt. But here I ran across the guy who was he was scraping the bottom of his pond out, trying to dredge it, and he was like, you know, I've got this soil here. He says, from the bottom of my pond, and he goes, I got tons of fish in it, and I mean the price was like unbelievable. So I got 1.5 tons of it delivered and put that in my front. I kid you not, I had probably 12-foot tall tomato plants growing in my front yard, and like it was so lush it looked like a jungle. But people would literally just pull up in front of my house while I'm out there working. They'd be like, your gardens are amazing. And I was like, it's fish poop. It's tons and tons of fish poop that they're growing in. So yeah. I can only imagine how well your plants are going to do.
Yeah, I haven't even entered fish yet. You know, I'm going to let it cycle a little bit, you know, before. But everything in there is from, you know, the reservoir.
The reservoirs, yeah.
Yeah, everything's already cycled. Everything's already done. I mean, the fish that I'm going to go down there and catch a couple bluegill, and that's going to be the first thing that goes in there. So the bluegill, I've heard from aquaponics experts over there at Potent Ponics. That's what they use, bluegill. They're ferocious eaters. They can eat. You know, I'll be feeding them worms out the bed. I'll be feeding them crickets. I'll be feeding them all kinds of stuff. You just throw it in there and they tear the shit up.
Bro, they're fast little things. They're freaking. I like the coloring. Yeah,
I got sunfish down there. Sunfish, the bluegill. You know, they're all cool. I got crappie down here. I can put a bass in there. I got bass, crappie, bluegill, sunfish.
They still have that fresh water lobster in there?
You know, I'm glad you asked. The freshwater lobster, the only explanation is Leroy got it. Leroy the snake.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only explanation that I could come up with, because it just disappeared. Like, one day it was there hanging out, and the next day it was gone. So I have no idea. I'm guessing Leroy, circle of life, I guess.
Leroy is probably fat and happy.
Oh, yeah. And you know, I had a mouse problem, and I saw the I don't know if you've seen the video. I caught him going in one. I've only caught him once, but I know he's in there. Like, I've seen traces of him, and I know he can come and go as he pleases, because there's a hole where he can come and go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. The thing just disappeared, so I have no idea where it went. It's not in the pond, because I redid the pond, so it's not in the creek. So I'm assuming that he came on up into the creek, and yeah, got caught. But I found some freshwater clams the other day down in the reservoir. Entering those, I got some little freshwater, little tiny shrimp. They're on a log. Got those in there. So I'm slowly getting a cleaning crew, so to speak. So in the aquarium world, we get cleaning crews. You get crabs and lobster, or like crabs or snails, different things that go around and clean up your debris. They also add shit. Everything that eats shits, so they add that aspect to the water and the microbiology, and who knows what's going on in there, really.
Yeah. Where I'm at right now, I work at a marina. Well, our business is located at a marina. So literally right outside this water are the docks and the seawall, about 20 feet out from my window here. But I mean, we've got everything you can imagine. There's catfish down in there. There's bluegills, crappies,
what body of
bass.
water? Where are you at?
Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri.
Okay. No, I don't know. Yeah. Missouri. Actually, my brother-in-law's from Missouri.
Oh yeah.
What up, Curly Green Leaf?
Y'all have to ask him if he knows that. Never been up that way, but I'm sure it's beautiful.
Hey, we've got a Growmie Talk getaway next May. We're trying to get as many growers here as possible for just a vacation, and everybody hang out and kind of do a bunch of events together as a group. Just kind of cool. No real seminars and things like that. I mean, those are awesome too, but we really just want it to be a vacation where everybody gets to mingle and spend time hanging out and talk cannabis as much as possible. And so we'd love it if you could make it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'll try and definitely do that for sure.
Yeah, so if anybody missed out on the BizCon event, this will be another opportunity for where Growmies can come along and come together, and actually, besides being in Vegas and stuff, this is actually going to be more of a relaxing getaway where you can actually just go fishing, go boat riding, chatting with everybody, talk about cannabis, trading beans, flowers, just really getting to know each other. Maybe even barbecuing together. To just enjoy life, and because we're in this run together, not only by growing, but by living. We got a life, and I know we all have individual things that we like to do. But when we're together, I feel like we're stronger. We're more unstoppable.
For sure, yeah.
And the best thing too, it's so incredibly affordable down here. I mean, you can get an Airbnb with a gorgeous, a studio place or a 3-bedroom or however many, and it's usually like $90 to maybe $100 a night for a private place, with the fridge, kitchen, everything overlooking the water. I mean, you've got enough rooms there where if you're coming down with a group of people, or even 2 couples or something, you split it. That's less than $50 a night. And then all your entertainment is, I mean, you could easily get by with $50 to $75 plus just your food. I mean, it's nothing like, the bigger tourist areas. It's super laid back here.
Man, it's gonna be pretty fun. Like a lot of the little goodies that I got to collect during the event for BizCon, I'm gonna be throwing them in every single swag bag. I pretty much have some swag bags ready to go. I try to promote some of it while I was out there, and just to get you a little feel for what people are gonna be getting in the bags. It's only gonna get better. But besides getting free goodies, you're gonna meet amazing people. People that you get to talk to on a daily, either on Instagram, or you just get to watch on YouTube or stuff like that. So we're just trying to be united.
Absolutely, it's always fun to meet people.
Yeah, it's
good. It's always fun to meet good people. Anyway, like that. I've been smoking on this lemon skunk. I know you probably saw that on my Instagram, and it's right now. It's at its peak.
I'm currently smoking on half of it is the orange cream puff from Humboldt, and the other half is the Black Sunday mints that just came out recently, probably like before I left to Vegas. I want to see what she's gonna do, and she tastes delicious.
Like to mix them up, huh? You like the chocolate and vanilla both at the same time?
Yeah, just like to.
Neapolitan
like
ice cream. Have all the flavors all at once.
Call it the salad blunt. How about you, Vixen? What you got going on? What you gonna smoke tonight?
When I get home. I don't know. So I lost my last grow, because I accidentally didn't catch a few males, and then it kind of just went to shit. But so I'm on Dispo right now. Which one did I just pick up? Cool Whip. That's one of my Good Day Farms is one of the brands down here. But that's just one of them that I like. It'll get me by until mine's done.
Man, I'm hoping it's the same Cool Whip I had probably a while back, but man, is it that limey taste? Kind of like a slush.
I'm not sure about limey.
No, not limey.
It's fruity.
No.
But yeah. I like the effects of it, not so much like the taste. It's just kind of chill. A nice indica strain. I'm an indica girl.
Yeah, this lemon skunk is more of a daytimer. It's more of a sativa. It went a long time. It's more of a sativa. It's got a good lime, or not lime, but the lemon. And I'll say when you break it, it's more of a berry, like a berry-ish lemon,
nice.
like maybe a blackberry lemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and when you smoke it though, it's really it's expanding. Loving expanding is that lemon. It really expands the chest quite well. I usually don't cough like very often. Like I take big old bong hits like all day long, and it takes a lot for me to cough usually. But the outdoor too, I'm sure it's a lot of the outdoor aspect is more of a little bit of a potent. I haven't gotten it tested.
What are you excited to grow in your next coming run?
Oh, I got Marco's Divine Pine. Marco is growing. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. You should follow Cannabis Naturally. He's got a system that I was telling you about. Like he's got it's a 4x8, I believe, but it's set on an incline. So it's a 4x8 set up like this, and it's got he's got like a sink almost, like a restaurant sink, and it's on the side wall, and it's got it filled up with pea gravel and different things, and he uses it like as his filtration system for his water. So he filters in that water, and then he basically floods his bed, and all the water runs down his bed into this little tank, and then he pumps it back into and it kind of filters around like that. And that gave me the idea, and I was like, holy shit. He was like, you can grow cannabis like that? I was like, no fucking way you can grow fucking cannabis like that. I was like, you can't grow fucking cannabis like that. And then the bitch went out and won a damn NCC championship, and I was like, okay, I guess you can win. I guess you can grow cannabis that way. I was like, God damn. I was like, Marco. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm following Marco. I was like, here we go. You know. And then I set out to meet the guy. And he's a great dude. You know, and I've met him a couple of times now. We've done some trading back and forth. We got some wheat brand from him. You know, I've gotten a light from him. Really a good dude and knowledgeable as hell. Like really knowledgeable at what he's doing. And then I highly recommend following him. And then Rubber Ducky Isopods, Brian over at Rubber Ducky Isopods. He's got My Beneficials over there. I don't know if you should. I was on his podcast not too long ago. My Beneficials.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of Growmies.
There's a lot of guys, man. There's a lot of guys. Are you in Michigan? Is that where you are? Are you in Michigan?
I'm not. I'm in Texas.
Okay. Oh, you're in Texas. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just noticed a lot of Michigan going through. Michigan people going through Instagram. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that you can learn from, but not so many in the natural farming aspect. You know, there's really not too many people out there who are doing it like Marco is doing it, like Cannabis Naturally, who is Marco. He's who I've been following and been learning a lot from. Because the only way you can make this work indoors is and feed the plants is being able to use natural products and natural farming products like Jadam. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jadam natural farming.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my go-to. Like a JMS, Jadam microbial solution, mixed with some LAB, some labs, or like some EM1. EM1 is really good for water, for your pond, cleaning algae, and great for plant growth. It's you know, those types of products is how I can make that project work. And being able to spray those, being able to still be able to spray that biology on my plants, and not have to worry about it getting in the creek and getting in the fish. You know, it's actually beneficial to everything. So that's how I can get away with now feeding my plants. You know, because I like the foliar spray. I think foliar spraying is where it's at. If you really want the terpenes to really pop, foliar spraying biology. It's not so much like foliar spraying like kelp and all that stuff, you know, but foliar spraying like an IMO, like a JMS, like a lab JMS mix, like you know, just a good IMO3, liquid IMO3. Like you put your IMO bag in a bucket of water and just extract it and filter it and then spray it on your plant. Those are the things.
And then I've seen that you sprayed during with the lights on. Has it affected your plants in any way?
No.
No? Yeah, like it's just like nature, right? It's like when it rains and stuff.
It's just like when it rains, it usually gets cloudy. It'll get cloudy, so that it diminishes the sun. So you don't really want direct light. So you do want to spray. If you saw me spraying in the day, it's probably 30 minutes or so before the lights go out. You don't want to really. I don't like foliar spraying in the morning and then letting it go all day cooking. So I like the foliar spray in the evening. Usually about 30 to 15 minutes before the lights out. Sometimes not even, maybe 5 minutes. Sometimes, this biology is pretty sensitive. So, it's up to you. Use your best judgment, really, when it comes to this stuff. It's nature, and I don't measure. I don't like measuring shit. I don't like, I know there are recipes for these things, but I'm bad at recipes. Sometimes I'll add a little more. Sometimes I like to add a little. Most of the time, it's a little less. More is bad in organics. It's always less is better when you do this stuff. You know, when you're dealing with organics or like anything like biology driven, like an IMO 3, or you know, like when you're going out in the wood. Do you know how to make? Have you ever made IMO or like an IMO 3, indigenous microorganism? So what we're doing is it's like composting, but you're not using shit. Right? We're using biology that we're getting from the woods. So what we're doing is taking rice and cooking it about 80%, and then we're taking it and putting that rice in a box. In a cedar box, preferably. I like to use the old cigar box. So if you have an old cigar box, it's usually made out of cedar. Or they have cedar paper in them. And that cedar is a good microbial blocker to where you're only going to get the good biology that's drawn to that rice. So I usually like to use that, and we drill holes in that box to where you put the rice in there and you take it out to a good spot where you're getting good growth. Like I like oak trees or hardwood. Like a hardwood tree, like a beech or an oak, a white oak, a red oak, any of those trees, it's usually got really good biology. Those trees took a long time to get there. The bigger the tree, the better off, the better the biology is, because the longer the tree's been there, the longer the soil's been there, the longer everything's been building up. It just makes sense, you know? So put that box right there on, maybe dig a little bit or make sure that it's covered. Some people like to use a tote. You know, they cut a hole in the tote, cover it, put the box and put the tote over top of it, cover it from the rain, and come back in about 3 days. And that rice will be covered in mycelium. Like it'll be it'll be white, like hairy looking shit all over it. And that's what we're looking for. And once that's what's breaking down the forest floor. So that's how the tree is getting fed. So what I'm doing is taking the food maker, basically. I'm going into the forest and I'm taking the chef out, and I'm taking him and putting him in my bed. And I'm telling him to cook my soil for me, and I'm bringing that biology out of the soil in the forest, and I'm gonna put it in my bed and let it start breaking down all the nutrients in my bag, or my compost pile. You know, that's how we make an IMO. IMO 2 is just taking that and then adding sugar. So IMO 1 is going out and getting it in and cultivating, like getting it out of the ground. IMO 2 is taking that, putting it on a scale and weighing it out, and then taking brown sugar and putting it on a scale, weighing them out equally, putting them together. And that brown sugar stabilizes that biology, and you can put that now in a jar and save it for whenever you want. And you can just take a spoonful of it out. Now you have a spoonful of biology that you can now take and put into your compost. What we would do then is put it in a bucket of water. And spread it around in the water, and then pour that bucket of water on your compost pile. And spread that biology out all over your compost pile and let that break down. It'll heat up fast. So you would add like a wheat bran or malted barley or something like that to your compost pile, along with that IMO 3 and some other ingredients like a brown rice vinegar, maybe some seawater. And you add all these things together and put them in your compost pile, and you basically cook them. You get the temperature will rise up to about 120 to 100. You want to keep it at about 120 degrees. 120 to 130 is the range you want to be at. You want to be at that range for about 3 to 4 days. So you keep that at that range for 3 to 4 days, and after that it starts to cool down. this lets you know that everything is cooked out. Basically, everything's been broken down. All the bad things have been cooked out, and only the good are left. So all your weed seeds are gone. All your bad biology is gone. Only the good are left behind, and that's what we're looking for. So once we get that good biology, then we just put it in our bag. Just put it right into your bag, and let it do its thing. Once the water is introduced again, it kicks back on and starts going to town. So it's really a cool aspect. That's how the whole system works. Really, it's run on biology. So it's a truly regenerative system. So there's no. I'm using a soil, but I'm also using sand, silt, and clay. So if you don't have the sand, silt, and clay, you're using a growing medium. You're using something that you bought out of a bag, which is fine. It works. I'm not down in that at all. I actually put 20 bags of, big worm organics, living soil. Because I knew where it came from. I know who makes it. I know he does good work. He lives like 30 minutes from me. And so he doesn't use perlite. I hate perlite in my soil. Like, I just hate seeing that white shit float up to the top every time I water, my bed. It just floats up and floats up. I just got old. And then I learned about mulch. If you're growing in bags, that's my number one piece of advice. If you're growing in a small bag, 20, 15, I don't care what size bag it is. If you're growing in a medium, get a good mulch. At least 4 inches. You'd be shocked at how much better your plant will react, how much better it will grow, how much more water you will retain. The mycelium growth that you'll get from this
there we are.
off the chart. So, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that mycelium growth. That mycelium is what's breaking down everything. It's that fungal aspect is what you're looking for. If you ain't got the fungal aspect, you're really not breaking down nutrients for your plant. You're gonna have to keep adding and adding and adding. And that's what the grow shop needs you to do, is keep adding and adding. And then once you run out, you're gonna have to go buy more. And keep adding and adding and adding. Well, I was just tired of that. I knew there was another way, so that way is the farming way. You got to add the sand, the silt, and the clay, which is what makes up soil. That is soil: sand, silt, clay. Your mediums are like your peat moss and your cocoa. It's your rock wool, all that stuff, is great. You can grow in it, but it's not regenerative. Well, peat moss is, but it takes a long time, and that's why there's a big controversy over it. People, because it's, you're taking it from a bog up in Canada. It's taking tens of thousands of years to make, and here we are harvesting it out. And, it's kind of like oil and everything else, I guess. You can think of it.
Yeah.
You're using these things to grow your cannabis, man. It's fine. I've done it. But there's another way, I'll tell you that. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money. Right. The trees grow in the ground. You don't have to feed them. they grow big and tall from a little acorn. And they get big and huge. Nobody feeds them. And they're getting fed off that mycelium that's around that tree. So we're just going to harvest some of that and put it in our bed, but it needs food, right? It needs food. So that mulch layer is where that food comes from. You need to replicate what's on top of the soil, and that's just that organic matter. And that organic matter is just built up over time. If you can get a good thick layer of organic matter, you ever walk around an oak tree, an old one, you'll notice that you kind of sink in. You'll kind of,
Yeah.
it's like you're like walking on a sponge. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that sponge effect. It holds a tremendous amount of water and it holds it for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you can dig that out of the ground and plant your plant right now, oh man, you get a good plant. I promise you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And growing organically, you know, like all the amendments and stuff is cool. It works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doing all the amendments, going all, you know, the kelp and the fish meal and the bone meal, and you know, there's an endless amount of amendments you can do to enter into your growing medium to be broken down for your plant to uptake. I'm just doing it through the fish shit and in the creek system, and hopefully getting enough nutrient over time through the through the fish shit in the pond to be able to feed my plants all the way through it. Like, don't have to feed a different nutrient line. It's just like a buffet, you know. It cuts stuff on and off and whenever it wants, you know.
Yeah.
It's there all the time. It's up to the plant to decide whether or not it wants it or not. You know, it knows when it's going into play. It's smart. It knows when it'll cut itself off from taking up nitrogen, and it'll start uptaking more phosphorus and potassium, and these different nutrients that it needs for flower.
Right.
It's that smart. So I don't have to do it. You know, I just have to provide the atmosphere in the buffet, so to speak, for it to be able to feed off it. So once that's done, it's a matter of time. Yeah. I mean, nature will take care. I can't do anything other than what I've done. You know, now it's all about the cycle. I got to get as much root shit as I can get in there. You know, the more plants I get in that soil, the more roots I get going down and breaking into that clay layer. It'll connect itself to that sidewall of the creek, and hopefully just continue to take hold and go to town. Once, hopefully, that those holes you saw at the beginning will all be filled with roots. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
You know, there'll just be a big root pile, and they'll all be connected to this creek system. And it'll all run. All I have to do is maybe top off the pond and make sure the fish are fed, and you know, do maintenance. You know, might have to dredge a little bit here and there. You know, when I'm adding things. You know, a lot of that silt and stuff will get pulled up through the pump and you know, overflow. What's cool is I've already noticed that when it does do that, I've already done it once. I had to pull some of it back, but the moss gets super wet, and then it really shows in the soil. So the soil will get wetter. It'll be like a little pocket of moisture, and I'm like, there's too much moisture right in this one area. There's something going on here, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a warning. You know, that's what I've got to be looking for. I've got to be looking for these wet spots that shouldn't be there, to let me know that, you know, there's too much going on or something's building up, you know, in a certain spot. I just have to go in there and dredge it back a little bit. So it should be fun. It'll be fun to watch over time. Hopefully I get to like day 700 or so, and you know, like the 3-year mark will be a real test for it. Like 3 years of growing cannabis in it over and over and over. You know, hopefully I get, you know, 2 or 3 runs a year out of it. And yeah, should get a good root system going. I'm just leaving the roots, you know, I just cut the plant, leave the roots, plant right beside. So you just keep getting those roots. I'll never all I'm doing is adding. So I'm never digging the root, I'm never digging anything up. So all I'm doing is adding. So as it shrinks, I add. Shrinks, I add. Shrinks, I add. That's all I have to do. That's how you know when you got to add your IMO 3. So IMO 4 and IMO 5. That's what I'm trying to learn how to make now. I don't do it as well as like people like Marco and all these other guys that I'm learning from, but I'm learning how to do it now. And once I learn and perfect it, that's what I'll be adding to the top. You know, I'll just be adding that IMO 3, and that's that biology, in along with, you know, some leaf matter and you know, that mulch layer, some wood. As that wood breaks down, turns to soil. And that's the nutrient, that's the nutrient that the plant wants and needs. So that's what I'm shooting for, and hopefully it'll just
come naturally.
Turn itself over and over again until I die.
Exactly. That's the way to do it. Try to mimic nature as best as possible,
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan. Hopefully it'll just be something I get to tinker with till I get old and gray, and if they can wheel me in there and I can feed my fish, I'll be happy. So,
that's awesome.
If somebody don't put me in a nursing home before then,
just get home care.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any shout outs that you'd like to give?
I think I've already shouted out, like I said, Marco is growing, Rubber Ducky Isopods, My Beneficials, Kingdom Aquaponics. That's Leighton Morrison over there. Yeah, those guys they're great. They like to spread the knowledge for free. I mean, they have products to sell, but the information is free. So if you want to purchase something, you can. If you don't, you don't. And that's what's cool about it. And it's not just about cannabis. For me anymore. It used to be. Don't get me wrong, but it gets to a point where it's about health now and learning about the microbiology that's in my guts and how I eat better now. I don't drink soda anymore. I haven't eaten fast food in 10 years. The soda was a big thing. I don't care what diet bullshit. I don't get it's water and like mineral water, or some type of I do the powdered stuff in the mornings for the minerals and nutrients.
Your electrolytes,
yeah, all that stuff. Taking care of yourself. That's what it's about now. Health is wealth. You learn that as you get older. Health is definitely wealth. I don't care how much money you got. It don't mean shit if you feel like shit.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents, and my piece of advice. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, all that good stuff. But your health is your wealth, man. If you feel better, you do better. If you feel like shit, you just don't do well. And your plants know that too, man. Your plant, if you walk around your plants, you're in a bad mood, they know it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed they know it.
Yeah.
Okay. It was definitely a pleasure hanging out tonight, bro. I was like, hopefully we can get you back on some other time.
We're gonna get some cannabis in that thing, get some big old noggins going up in there, and I got quite a few getting ready to pop. I don't know if they're all gonna pop. I'm trying something new, so we'll see how many can take. The ones that do are gonna be badass. The ones that can take the heat, they can take the heat. They're gonna be pretty badass. So I like to test them early. Like I like to put them in a rough environment. Right out of seed. Yeah, I don't do the paper towel bullshit. I don't call that bullshit because it works. It does work. But I've done it plenty of times. But I found that the ones you just put right in the soil, you find out real quick, a whole lot faster, which ones are worth your time and effort. The ones that can bust through and pop through all that shit and come on through, those are the ones you want. Those are the hard ones. The ones that don't, you don't have to worry about it. You didn't have to waste your time.
No.
Because all of them are going to pop usually in a paper towel. Some of them are longer than I usually took the longer ones. I would pop them all and then just take the longest of the ones. So they all went in at the same time. So if they were short coming out the gate, I didn't use them yet.
Well, I can't blame you. I was like, there's there's a lot of Grommies that just like to let them pop, and then if they see them kind of mutated or kind of just stunted or any type of way, they just eliminate them from the beginning. I was like, damn.
Yeah,
I try to give everybody a fighting chance. You know, you never know what she might look like at the end result.
I used to do that. I did. You can go
Yeah.
back in my Instagram and you can see how many I'd hate cutting them.
Like,
hated them. Yeah, I wanted to grow them all out. I'd give them all a chance. I was like, hey, this could be the best one. This could be the best one. But over the course of time and enough seeds have popped, I just realized that, usually they're not. Usually the better looking plant
is the one that right away is going to be the better result. Uh-oh, he froze. Am I frozen?
What's that?
Am I frozen? No. Uh-oh. Let me see. No.
Well, we got a brief intermission. Give a big
Right.
shout out to Crimson.
Yeah, shout out to Crimson Rock.
Yeah, well, his Dead by Dawn genetics are on oh my god, crop culture. I'm drawing a blank. It's been a really long day.
Okay.
But yeah, his seeds are available now. Hey yo.
Yeah.
So everybody who wants them, head over to Crop Culture and he's gonna have his seeds online. It's pretty exciting.
I was like, in Christmas coming, so definitely check out the new sprout. Don't be shy to.
Okay, not yet. My bad. But we're gonna get you over there.
Hey, spring is coming around the corner. Just so I can just blink an eye. Yeah. Time flies, man. Time flies. You just gotta be on it. Make sure you look out for that and be on the lookout. But yeah, I was like, Christmas coming. Check out the Root Nerds. They got the Roar Plus. They got the new Sprout. I'm actually gonna be trying out these new RS11 times Banana OG from Barney's Farm. I'm actually rocking one of their shirts that they hooked me up at the convention. It's
Very
pretty
nice.
freaking sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. And they hooked it up with a couple of samples that I'm gonna be sending out to you, Miss Vixen, and to 6 other Gromies that that just been here from the beginning, bro. You know who you guys are. Don't really need to say any specific names, but you know who you are. Yeah, definitely.
So Yellow Skunk said he lost his connection.
All right.
He's in the comments there, but Yellow Skunk said that he lost his connection.
Sorry about that, buddy. Well, if you want to hit that link, you can come back on. If not, we thank you again for jumping on, hang out with us. It was a pleasure being able to, hang out with you and just hear your end of the story from this journey. Any thoughts?
So he was mentioning all the mulches and whatnot. One of my favorites that I haven't really seen too many people talk about, I believe it's called Chaffye. It's CHAFFYAE, but it's but it's been it's mixed with what do you call it? Blackstrap molasses, and then it's fermented. Man, the microbes are like crazy in there. But the thing is, you want to be careful using it in flour because it does kind of give a nitrogen drop when you first put it on. But I mix it in with my teas, like a worm tea, and just I put a handful of little leaves in there, and then I put the Chaffye in with it, and it doesn't take much. I mean, we're talking like a small amount of it, and put that in, and then it just like literally it's bubbling and going crazy. My plants love it. Yeah. Use it as a foliar spray, dilute it down, of course. Otherwise, just make it into a tea.
Definitely.
But
That is an awesome tip right there. Thank you.
yeah, it's like you can get.
I was
They
like,
use
both of you
it
guys
for
was like,
I'll see if I can find the link for it. But they use it for animal feed, but it's been fermented through the roof. And that's how you pronounce it.
Ah, okay. Okay.
But I order
I'm
it directly
not
from
even
their
try to
site.
pronounce it.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm probably slaughtering the name of it. And Rock, I hope your baby kitty's doing good. I meant to check back in with you and see how he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I try to organize some of the stuff with the banner. I got hooked up with some of this stash blend by Pigeons and the crew from the stash. This is something that I just love using. Got to hang out with the Guy Green people, so definitely represent their stuff. Got the Crop Culture, the Dead by Dawn, I Grows Arm, Aurora Root Nerds, the Mason Pot. Oh yeah, you can't forget to hit if you like making edibles and stuff like that, definitely hit up the Mason Pot. Something that's like this pretty much has your whole setup. You can even load up your medicine ready to go in here. All you would have to do is just buy a stick of butter, or if it's frozen, you can also stick it in here just on the go wherever you need to go to make your goods. They can be either from dinners to your edible, your fancy gummies and whatever you're choosing. But yeah, definitely hit them up. Like, it's a family brand, so I try to support anybody that's small business and just try to help everybody that's just, in this industry together. So, any last words, buddy?
I think you froze. There you are.
No, I did freeze on for a second.
Yeah.
No, I'm frozen again. All right. I guess that's the time to end it then.
It works. That was a great show.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Frank. Bye.
Peace.